What should your first guitar pedal be? I think your first guitar pedal should be an overdrive or distortion. You can sort of lump these into the same camp of dirt pedals. Distortion is the sound of rock and roll. I would argue that there isn't another effect that will more quickly change the way you approach the instrument, and frankly, the way you feel playing the instrument. Some type of distortion or overdrive should absolutely be your first guitar pedal. So if you've already gone out and bought your first dirt pedal, I think your second guitar pedal should be delay. Delay can make your guitar sound bigger and start to give you a sense of space. But more than that, there's so many creative possibilities that can happen rhythmically with a delay pedal. I think that next to overdrive and distortion, delay is the thing that's going to change the way you approach the instrument the most. All right, so what should your third pedal be? Well, this one gets a little complicated. I would say something in the modulation family, like a chorus pedal or a tremolo pedal. But depending on what type of music you play, you might be better suited to use a flanger, vibrato, phaser, a univibe, or even a rotary. All of these effect types under the modulation umbrella, they all give your guitar a sense of movement. Even when you're playing something simple, it can make it sound more exciting. Or if you're playing something that's already exciting, sound like you're playing a million miles an hour. Take a look at Hendrix or Van Halen for that. Some type of modulation should definitely be your third pedal. Right about now, you might be thinking, thanks a lot, Dave. Now I've got to spend $300 minimum just to get going. But fortunate for you, I just received this in the mail. This is the Donner Triple Threat pedal. This pedal is manufactured by Donner, but it was designed by Third Man Hardware, which just happens to be the company of Jack White of the White Stripes fame. Now, when Donner originally reached out, I wasn't sure what to expect, but the fact that Jack White is involved in the making of this pedal makes me very excited to see what this thing can do. Now, if that weren't enough, these puppies are super affordable. $99 US, which is crazy because it's also all analog, not a digital pedal, all analog circuitry. And if that's still not good enough, then stick around to the end of this video and find out how you could get one of these or anything else on the Donner website for up to 15% off. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's open it up and see what this thing's all about. Okay, let's get this thing open. Pretty. So inside you've got owner's manual, folds out like that. Instructions, what everything does. Very cool. Over here, oh, it comes with a power supply. That's rad. I didn't know it comes with a power supply, so super handy. Love that. I'll keep that in here for right now. And here comes the pedal itself. Oh wow. Dude, I knew this thing was compact, but this is wild. Just quick check, nothing else in the box. No, that's it. You've got power supply and owner's manual. Set these aside for a sec. This is the pedal. Oh my gosh, it's tiny. Like legit. Like what do I even compare this to? I'm gonna grab a Boss pedal. Oh my gosh. Okay, so compared to a Boss pedal, it's quite a bit shorter, which is great because it'll fit in like a gig bag then. You could throw this in a backpack and it's not super bulky. It's not going to take up a bunch of space. The width of it, like, I don't know why, but I thought when the box was this big, I was imagining the pedal taking up most of this, and it doesn't. It's just a little guy, and I love it. It feels really good. It's got good like healthy weight to it. Doesn't feel like light or cheap. Look at these graphics. Oof. Love that. Love the lines. Oh yeah. Super clean. Really rad designs on this. Yeah, got the triple threat there. more of the third man stuff there. Very cool. Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, like having a distortion, a phaser, and an echo really does like get you into guitar effects so quickly. All of your major food groups, all in one pedal, all under $100. This is ridiculous. So you've got these itty bitty knobs, but I was thinking these were going to feel like you could bump them super easily. They feel really good. Man, they did a good job with this. These feel better than most of the mini knobs, mini pots that you might have seen on other small pedals, like very compact pedals. These feel really good. Like you're not gonna bump that. And I don't know if you can tell on camera, but you're not gonna bump that on accident. So once you set something, it's actually gonna stay put. And I would think even because it's so low profile, like you're probably not going to bump those even when it's in a gig bag or thrown in a backpack or whatnot. It's probably not gonna happen. So that's just awesome. I love this. Oh my gosh, I need to hear it. All right, let's plug it in. I should mention that Donner sent me the pedal to make a demo video of, but I'm not being paid to say anything. My opinions of the pedal are my opinions. Okay, so I just plugged this pedal in for the very first time. We're gonna dial it in, get some sounds, and see what it's really capable of. In the other room, I've got mic'd up a Morgan AC20, and there's nothing else going on in the signal chain. It's just the triple threat and the Morgan AC20. So here's what the AC sounds like. It's clean, but it's also pretty loud. So yeah, that's what we're running right now. Now let's introduce the triple threat. Here you've got the volume, the gain, and the tone. I'm gonna put the tone right in the middle, and then we're gonna keep the gain low for right now and see where the volume's at. Wow, and that's with the gain almost all the way down. Let's go and zero it out. So gain is all the way down, volume's at like 70%, we'll call it. So that cleaned it up quite a bit. A little bit of gain starts to really take off. But that sounds great. Let's see how it is as far as dynamics is concerned. So here's with it, still low gain, but me playing a little hard and a little soft. Yeah, that sounds pretty awesome. Let's give it some juice. So gain coming up, I'll pull the volume back a touch. So that's without a ton of gain added. Let's see if we can get fuzz territory with it. It's got a lot of gain. It has a lot of gain on tap. All right, let's check out this echo. We'll come back to the phaser here in a sec. So we've got a level control, feedback, and time. So let's pull up the level and see where we're at. So that's going to be as few repeats and as fast as we can get. So obviously slap back. The level knob back a touch. A little adjustment with these knobs goes a long way. That time back a touch. That's very nice. All right, now I'm curious about sort of the ambient settings. I like a delay that is sort of low level, high feedback. So you're getting a lot of repeats in what you're playing and they sort of build up. Let's see if this pedal can do that without getting too out of control. Now, one thing that is very clear on this, the time has a lot of range to it. So let's explore exactly how much range we have in the time knob. So all the way up. Okay. All right, let's jump into this phaser. And phaser is actually a really interesting effect for this. I typically gravitate more towards chorus and tremolo when I'm looking for a modulation, but phaser can do a few things that some of the other modulation things can't do. So let's jump in and see what this is all about. It's luscious. All right. Let's go a little bit faster with the rate. Hear that with the distortion? If you wanted to go like almost pseudo Leslie vibes, if you pull that rate all the way up, a lot of level, and then let's pull the depth to sort of a mid spot. It's like almost pseudo rotary there, which is pretty sick. So yeah, this thing sounds awesome. Now we gotta try all three, right? So who's the triple threat for? Well, I think of two specific groups. The first off would obviously be beginners. If this is going to be your very first pedal, I think it's a great selection. It gives you a taste of those three major food groups, which are dirt pedals, modulation pedals, and time-based pedals. And this doesn't just give you a taste, it gives you a really strong example of each of those. It's affordable, it's built really well. I feel like you'd get really great sounds. It's like inspiring to play. I found myself wanting to just keep messing with knobs, and like this video could have been really long if I would have left in everything that I played. The second group is maybe a little less obvious, and that's players that already have some experience with pedals and maybe have a larger pedal board, but need something small just as a throw and go option. So you could toss this in a gig bag, guitar case, a backpack. It's so small, you could literally just have one on you just in case. If your entire rig goes down, you've got an extra option to get you through a set. Or like maybe you've got a buddy that you jam with across town, but you don't always want to lug your entire rig. It's an option there. Or if you've got a home setup and maybe you've got a practice amp and you don't want to lug around your entire pedal board, maybe it stays in a practice space, but you still want to play at home. This is a great option for players like that. And I think I sort of fall into that category where my pedal board mostly lives at the church, and at home, I usually don't play with effects because I don't have something like this. Now I will probably keep this at home, be able to play and be inspired and keep me playing guitar with new sounds that are exciting to play at home. So whether you fall into either of those two categories, or you fall into a third category of huge Jack White fans, whatever the reason, if you do get one of these pedals, get it off of the Donner website. There will be an affiliate link down below. If you do pick one up, I make a small commission, but you can also use my promo code. If you use my code GBD, as in Get Better Dave, or Getting Better with Dave, you could save up to 15% off of anything that you purchase from the Donner website, not just the triple threat pedal. So follow the link down below, and then anything that you purchase, use code GBD on your purchase, and you could save up to 15%. I'm sure it's going to depend on what you purchase, but use that code, you'll save something. So I do want to mention a couple of things about the pedal that I don't absolutely love. First would be the range of some of the knobs are a little touchy. You see a small difference and then a lot of difference. So some of the values are maybe a little bit hard to get dialed in. Certainly achievable, but if I were to change anything, I think it would be nice to have a little bit smoother taper on some of those, especially with like the gain on the distortion circuit and the time on the delay circuit. Getting those fine-tuned or exactly where you want them, especially with something like the time of delay, is going to be pretty difficult to do. So I was just going for like an approximation of what I wanted to hear, which is totally usable, but something to be aware of. Also, for me, phaser would have been my first choice as a modulation pedal. I've said that more than once in this video, but the phaser is cool. If I were designing the pedal, I think I probably would have put either a chorus or a tremolo there. My last critique would be who this pedal I feel like is not for. I feel like this is not necessarily an option that I would put for somebody who is in the process of building a main pedal board. If you've already gotten a little ways down the road and maybe you've already got a handful of pedals, adding this 3-button pedal to your pedal board, it wouldn't be my move personally, just because you're locked into the position of those 3 effects. If you wanted to have any type of effects in between your distortion, your delay, if you wanted different modulation before delay, you have to put it then before your distortion. So I think it's a little bit limiting in that. It really makes sense as a unit by itself for players that are either, just doing light gigging with it, or if you're using it as a practice tool, or it's your very first pedal. So I wouldn't recommend it if you already have several pedals and are already trying to put together a pedal board. I don't think it necessarily makes sense for those type of players, but if you're on either side of that, I think it could be a really useful tool. That's it for this one. Thanks so much for watching. Keep getting better.